horizon in a cafe. And so we invite our neighbors and our community to come, even if they don't want to participate. The cafe is there, and we encourage them to come and just enjoy having a hot drink and a cake or a biscuit or something with us, and just observe what's going on, because we've also found in our community we have a lot of lonely seniors who don't get a lot of opportunity to interact with people. So we encourage them to just come, and they can chat with each other, or they don't have to. They can just watch what we're doing. And so we do have a few people that do that as well, and we hope that's going to go up as we go along. So that's kind of the idea, and we just can't believe that participation level is huge. We started it really as a sort of a nurture program in our church, and then we took it out to the community, and the response from the community has just been amazing. And we've made all these new friends, and it's so nice when I walk down the street, there's all these people that I can say hello to and stop and chat to, because we've actually been able to meet and connect with them through our practice.
I think that's so beautiful, because I know here in London, and I'm sure in so many places around the country, around the world, we struggle with loneliness too. The amount of young people and old people who are lonely. And I wonder if you have any specific stories that you could share about the difference that this project has made to your community.
Well, we had a young family. The woman named Akila brought her little boy to the Tokyo, and she was heavily pregnant, and her father had come over from India to be with her during her delivery and everything. And so she came to the toddler group, and then we invited all of the people, toddlers, to come to our class. And so she came, she brought her little boy and her dad, and she enjoyed it so much. And Dad also enjoyed it. And so they kept coming, and then she had her baby, and we kept in touch with her. And it wasn't very long after she had her baby, she was right back there to have talking with us at our class program. And then eventually her father had to go back home. And so, we were all sad to see, because she told us afterwards that her father had said to her, these are good people. You need to be involved with them and keep connected and going to things. And then her husband started coming. And it was just really nice, because then he encouraged some of the other fathers to come. And pretty soon we had quite a large group of people, quite a few people from the Asian community coming with these fathers. And one day, one of our elders, one of our young elders, he comes to class, but he does watercolors, and he does amazing things, but he just self-taught himself. So he was doing some watercolors, and a few of these fathers came over to watch what he's doing. They sat down, and when you have food, when you have things like this, people start talking to each other. And this particular elder works for a company that does work with JLR, which is Jaguar Land Rover. And come to find out, these three guys, all of them were working there on different projects. And they were actually able to talk about some of the projects that they're working on. And I just think that's just so amazing. Let ourselves sort of relax and do something like craft or whatever together. It allows us to share with each other. We find all the things that we have in common. And it's way better than the tensions that we allow to build up in our community.
Oh, I think that's fabulous. And there may be someone listening right now who is thinking, I'm inspired. I want to start a creative cafe or some kind of community project along those lines too. Where would you advise them to start?
Well, let me first tell you that there has been significant research done for a number of years now. It's done, I think it's done every other year. And the latest research that I saw said that in the UK, so in this country, almost 60% of the women have done some form of crafting in the last 12 months. And that is a huge number. And so if 60% have done some craft, that means 60% of the people in your neighborhood, 60% of the people that you have as friends and everything probably have done some form of crafting. So it's not like this really weird way out thing, that nobody's ever done before, just a few people have. It's something that's of great interest. And so really that's how I was able to get my church to come on board with this. And they are just so keen on it that I was at a women's ministries retreat with Sharon Platt McDonald, and she women's ministries coordinator for the whole of the British Union Conference of the Adventist Church. And so she recognized the value of this. She likes crafting herself when she can squeeze a little time in. And so we started including craft in the retreats that she did. And as we were doing this, we're finding more and more people were really keen. And I would tell them stories about what we were doing at Leamington Spa. And a friend of mine has started a similar kind of program down in Finchley in Berkshire. And little groups have been popping up all over. And so people were saying, oh, I think I'd like to do that as well. So Sharon and I got together, we talked about it, we got a committee together to get other people's ideas. And what we've done is we pulled together just a few resources to try and get people started. We really believe that once we get people started, that they will be able to run with this and they will come up with all sorts of ideas. There's so many things out there that can help you, Pinterest and all of the social media, Facebook, they have all these different ideas and things that you can get. So what we've done is we've pulled together a program that can get somebody started. And we've worked with a supplier here in the UK, a wholesale supplier here in the UK, who's putting kits together for us so that we have very easy projects that they can do. Easy, but I will say, when you look at them, you don't think they're easy. Do you know what I mean? You can be really proud of making it. It's not, just a little pom-pom snowman or something like that, which there's nothing wrong with pom-pom snowman, but they're just really lovely projects. And so we put together with this company, kits at a really reasonable price. So the kits have 10, enough for 10 in them, and it only costs £2 per person, which we think is a really reasonable price. So in the card kit, I think they can make 3 or 4 cards, and that they got what they need in the kit to do that. And we're going to run a training program to help people, tell them how we did it and answer their questions, look at their own personal situations. We have one, she would like to do it in a church, and she will probably do it in a church, but she also wants to do it in a local daycare center. And she's been doing a little bit of experimenting, and she definitely wants to do it there. So, it's something that you can do. You don't have to do it in a church. You can do it around your dining room table. We have in our church, we call it satellite cafes, so that, because some of our members drive 45 minutes to get to church. They can't be coming all during the week. So they just get some of their the moms that they meet at school, and they just invite them, and they come and they do practice around their dining room table. We can do it in like an activity center or that your community has. So there's lots of things to do. If anybody's interested, definitely they can email me. My email is Carolyn, CAROLYN, at Schultz, which is my surname, SCHULZ.co.uk.
Carolyn at Schultz.co.uk.
That's it.
Wonderful. Carolyn, I have one final question for you. As you look back over your journey, whether that's your professional journey in the crafting industry or what you've been doing in your community, how have you experienced God? What have you learned about God in that time?
I have learned not to restrict him. That must be the biggest lesson, not to put parameters around things, and also to allow a bigger vision. He has over and over just gone way beyond my wildest dreams. I never thought I would have this opportunity. I never thought I would be doing this. I thought maybe God will maybe I'll go on a mission trip, but you know what? My mission, I know now, is my community. And he's given me the most amazing church and church family that have been so supportive, but not just supportive. They just get in there. They muck in there with me, Sometimes it's hard. We have to set up, and then we work all day, and then we have to clear away. They're there till the very end. So I think I never had this sort of support before, even when I was working and being paid for work, and people were being paid to help me. They didn't work as hard as I'm having people work. And I just, God, don't restrict him. He will just blow your mind on what he can achieve. And if you leave it with him, he will do that.
I think that's so encouraging. Carolyn, it's been a pleasure to chat with you this morning, and I wish you all the best with the training event. I hope our listeners are inspired to go out and do something in their community as well.
Oh, I hope so too. And I'll be praying about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your presence is a present you present in my present. You present it before time began. And recently I've resented every moment I'm not with you. But then you resend your presence every time that I praise. Jesus paid it all. No refunds, only exchanges. Rags for riches. Sin for sanctification. Prison for perfection. And upon rejection and re-rejection, you still pursue me. You rescue me. You rescue me. Shifting sets of mind until mine is defined only by that which is yours. Your orchestral omniscience leaves me deficient of reasons not to return. You return my life around when I'm found lost. And oh, what a cost. It's hard to conceive that you had me in mind before the inception of time. No word or rhyme could confine the divine wherewithal you spoke, and it was. Because you will, so I'll be still and know. I'll taste and see. You redefine my sense of nonsense, confounding the wise, unraveling the lies that had me so tightly wound, giving me new breath, resurrecting my hopes, my dreams, my desires. If life is a timetable, you're the chandelier, transcending all things. You make it crystal clear. You called me dear when I was dirty. You called me free when I was filthy. And now everywhere I go, I must show, and everyone I talk to must know what you've done for me abundantly throughout history. Who else can promise pleasures forever, my treasure forever found in you? It's history. See, ever since Adam and even before Cain was able to know about the arc of the story, chronicles of kings and things too heavenly to comprehend, it's history, how God wrapped himself in flesh, like a Christmas present, sent into time. But what did we do? We ripped the packaging to shreds. Because really, it's my story. It was my sin and my crime, and he did the time. It was my sin that nailed him to the cross and double-crossed him. They broke him till the earth shook. I was dining with swine after squandering my inheritance. That's my story. But he didn't look at who I was. He looked at who he made me to be. Because the old man is history. Because really it's his story. And his strength is my defense. And his faithfulness is my power. And his name is my tower. And his victory is my victory. And that's his story. Good thing he thought ahead. Thank you.
was a beautiful poem. I like the way how she do it. It's so creative. And just before that, you have the talk about the little that you can do in your life, in society. So all that woman did was just start a little cafe. And it draw people, it have people to bond together as a community. And that's what we lack. We lack community. You know, it's good when we can we can draw one another, you know, out of their comfort zone, you know, and become friends. And you see, that's what we lack here in the UK. We're not a community. You know, your neighbor, you live next door to your neighbor, and that neighbor, you're there, and for period of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, etc. And that person live next door. That person live next door, and you don't even know their name. You don't even know their name, and yet they live next door to you. And for years, you know that person. Just seeing the person walk by. Your children probably know that other children live next door. Never talk with them. Because once you coming from work, your door shut. You wake up in the morning, straight in your car, and you head off to work. And you think, how can we make? You see, talk about the children. It take a community to grow your children. But where is the community? Because community is not just a place that you live in. There's the people you be around, the people that you make friends with, the people that influence you. And this woman that's the niche. She find the cure, or one of the cure of building a community. Because what she did is just a coffee morning. Then it become a craft coffee morning, and she just add to it and add to it, and people coming from different walks of life, different communities, and they just come together and they started to make craft. Like, they started to just have a chat. Some just come just for the coffee, some come for just to hear, some, and then they just start fitting. So there's no pressure. And you become friends. You know one another. Your children become friends with the other children. You started to look out for one another. You become a security for my property, likewise I for your property. And I think we find ourselves in that kind of situation. It's the best thing for not only our children, but for us, because we need to be friends with the people around us. The people around us look out for you while you look out for them. You live in a community where you have your friends. You will never see somebody doing something, out of character, mistreating that friend that live at number 3. You will not see that friend at number 3 struggling with a bag of grocery coming in and not help. You will not see that friend or that neighbor coming in from wherever they're coming from and not help them. You will always want to help them. You'll always do something for them. You'll always look out for them. Because that's how it is. Because you're friends now, you know. You're not just a neighbor. And so when we find ourselves building a community, it don't just contribute to us, but it done great things to our children and to our children's children, to our properties as well. You think about your vehicles, think about your house, and all of these things. So let us try to say hi to the person living next door that you never meet. Somebody just moved into the community, just walk up, just say hi, welcome to our community, because now they're part of your community. And so this is where my journey ends. Please remember, someone really need to be your friend, but they're afraid to approach you. Please do approach them. Thank you.